Hey everyone, this is Isaac here, and welcome back to Isaac Reviews 2023. It's safe to say that Disney has a live-action remake problem. I don't think I need to repeat how almost all of them have just been soulless husks that fail miserably at trying to fix what wasn't broken to begin with, and yet we as general moviegoers have continued enabling Disney to make these with how much money they make at the box office. And after a handful of Disney Plus exclusive remakes, Disney's decided to go back to the big screen with their latest addition to these live-action rehashes, The Little Mermaid. The original 1989 classic is probably one of the most important films in Walt Disney Animation Studios' history. I mean, not only was it the first film to be scored by the incredible Alan Menken that also won him his first of 8 Oscars, but it was also what officially kickstarted the Disney Renaissance. And it was definitely a great start to one of Disney's best periods in their history, with its extremely memorable songs, beautiful animation, endearing characters, and great pacing. But the quality of something doesn't seem to matter to Disney, as all that matters is if it'll make them money. It's happened plenty of times before, and now it's happening again with The Little Mermaid. Even if there was some positive buzz surrounding it leading up to its release, I was very pessimistic about watching it, although there is one aspect about it that's practically impossible to avoid regarding this movie: the casting of Halle Bailey as Ariel. Now, I usually don't like discussing political matters in my videos, not just because I'm still a kid, but also because I'm worried about possibly garnering some negative reactions from my views on these sort of things. However, part of the gamble you take when making content on the internet is that there will be some people who are jerks to you because of the stuff you put out, so why should I be worried about something that'll probably happen anyway? Exactly, now let's talk about Halle. To say the reactions to her casting were extremely polarized would be quite an understatement. You had those who were really happy about this, and you had those that weren't and saw it as forced diversity and what have you. But as for me, well, I honestly didn't care. I say that because I didn't care about the race of who was playing this character, since Halle is African American, but rather, in the case of a character like Ariel, if the actress could act and sing, and Halle can do both. I mean, this is her major acting debut, but she does have the singing part down. Sure, some of her Ben Platt-esque vocal stems did feel a bit show-offy, but she otherwise has a beautiful singing voice, which is integral to the character that she's playing. So yeah, even if I wasn't excited for this movie, I was at least fine with Halle's casting. Her being African American shouldn't have any effect on the movie, but what should have an effect on the movie is its quality, and after watching it, yeah, it honestly kinda sucked. For those of you who've been living under a rock for the past 33 years, allow me to give a brief refresher on the story of The Little Mermaid. Ariel, a young mermaid, is curious about the surface world despite the objection of her xenophobic father. But after falling in love with the human prince Eric and having a particularly heated argument with her dad because of this, she seeks out the evil sea witch Ursula to give her human legs, albeit in exchange for her beautiful voice, so she could finally achieve her dream of being part of the human world. I bring this up because story-wise, both movies are pretty much the same, with similar scenes and lines of dialogue. However, if this new one was just a shot-for-shot remake stretched out for 2 hours, then it'd be boring as all hell. It needs some new stuff to keep it fresh and fully justify its existence, and it tries to do that, although it does bring with it some mixed results. One major change involves Eric's character, as he's now written to be sorta similar to Ariel in terms of his aspirations. It's a noble idea, and it's nice that they decided to flesh him out more, but a lot of the other ideas this remake presents are either pointless, stupid, or both, especially towards the climax. I won't go into specifics due to spoilers, but yeah, just take my word for it that some of what happens is pretty asinine. It also has some new musical numbers courtesy of Lin-Manuel Miranda, and for the songs in general, while they're nowhere near as good as the originals, they were still well performed with Halle Bailey and Melissa McCarthy being the MVPs. Plus, Alan Menken returned to do the score, and it sounds lovely per his standards, retaining his signature bombastic, John Williams-esque orchestral style present in a lot of his other works. So yeah, good job, Alan. But for the new songs, Wild Uncharted Waters is basically to Eric what Part of Your World is to Ariel, and it's a decent song, might I add. For the first time, it's pretty cute and does a good job establishing Ariel's sense of childlike wonder and innocence regarding the human world, and then there's the scuttlebutt. Look, Lynn, buddy, I love your music and all, but how do you go from writing stuff like My Shot and Dos Oruguitas to this ear torture? Seriously, are you okay, bro? The only other area I can say this movie is sort of okay in is with the actors. Of course, Halle Bailey is pretty good as Ariel, but Melissa McCarthy was surprisingly fantastic as Ursula. Honestly, it kinda reminded me of Jack Black in the Mario movie, where I was initially unsure about the casting, but once I heard them, boy did they cook. The rest of the actors were fine, all things considered, except for Javier Bardem, who sounded like he was doing all his scenes on 2 hours of sleep and a Red Bull. But he's the only actor I'd say gave a really bad performance here, as the rest of the supporting cast was just fine. So what else is there for me to talk about regarding the Little Mermaid remake? How about the visuals? I mean, a lot of the other Disney remakes have some really uncanny looking CGI, and this one isn't all that different. First off, look how they massacred my boys. Also, for the CGI in general, while there were a few good shots here and there, there's a lot of times where the underwater CGI just didn't feel all that natural, especially compared to other recent movies with prominent underwater locations, such as Black Panther: Wakanda Forever and Avatar: The Way of Water. In fact, I'd even say that there have been movies from 2 decades ago with much better looking underwater CGI than this. What else is there for me to say about the Little Mermaid remake? Like most of the other Disney live-action remakes, it's uninspired, unnecessary, and just a shallow imitation of what came before it. And I know these will keep being made if we keep giving them money, so if my videos can help convince you that these remakes aren't worth your time, then hey, at least I sorta helped. Or maybe we're all too late because a live-action Moana remake is already on the horizon. But in the meantime, I'll give the Little Mermaid remake a 4 out of 10, and yet I'd still say it's one of the better Disney live-action remakes. Thankfully, next time I'll be reviewing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, a sequel to one of the best animated films of all time, and it also looks fantastic? Yeah, sign me up! Anyways, thanks for watching this episode of Isaac Reviews 2023. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!